All right, hey guys. I'm gonna check Facebook really quick. Just kidding. All right. The human brain. It is the most complex piece of matter in the known universe, besides the universe itself. It weighs roughly 2 pounds, yet it is the sole operator of you. It is the only organ in our bodies whose mechanics can't be thought of as a pump or a filter, but more of our actual selves. Most of the time when we think of the brain, we can't really abstract ourselves from the picture. The brain's firing of neurons always seems to internally translate back into a sense of self. The brain is literally the reason for this epic story that we know as the human experience, and any single construct we have about being human can be traced directly back to it. And yet, it seems we don't fully get it. How can the individual firing of microscopic cells inside this 2-pound reaction chamber translate into this vast and vivid experience that we have every day and every night? Most are inclined to believe that we're still practically dumbstruck by the brain, having no idea how it actually works. And for the majority of human history, we've looked at the brain with this almost blunt force curiosity. Thousands of years of study, and yet the brain doesn't seem to be getting any more understandable. But that is what I'm here to talk to you about today. We are getting really close to understanding it. Over the last 30 years alone, our curiosity has grown into a sharp scrutiny, and we've illuminated a portion of the black box that is the brain. It's as though we've been bumbling around for centuries, and finally our eyes have adapted to allow us to see in the dark just that much, and it is bringing along a new age of brain science. A multitude of advances have increased our resolution for the brain, but they can all be traced back to the imaging technologies that have allowed us to peer into the brain while it is alive. Before these technologies, we've only been able to effectively study dead brains, and that has not been enough to get the puzzle. But now we can even measure individual neurons as they go about their day freely and record every single millisecond of it. This is huge. In the last few decades, we've been able to search the brain with these advanced technologies and have been going mad with joy, making new discoveries every day. So many new discoveries have been made that recently an entire new field of neuroscience was founded to give structure and continue this growth: computational neuroscience. Think of this field as the well more evolved child of traditional neuroscience. Seeing the beauty of this field firsthand, I can promise you that we will feel its effects within our lifetime. Simply put, the field has taken all of the questions that we've ever had about the brain and compressed them into 3. What is a brain? How does a brain work? And why does a brain work? Answering these 3 simple questions opens up infinite possibility of application and understanding. And in the last 30 years, this field has brought about a neural renaissance, and in itself is now a tool for helping understanding the brain. The advances made in this field are allowing more people to join than ever before. It is truly a field of science fiction turned reality. Questions we've been asking for centuries finally have plausible and fitting answers. What memory is, how emotions work, what our personalities are, how our bodies move, what intuition and reasoning are. These mysteries are all continuously being revised at light speed because of recent advances, and the most exciting thing is they are now reaching application. Because of how much we know now, we can manipulate and interface our brains with external objects. This is something I've dedicated my work to: brain-computer interfacing. The idea of interfacing brains with external objects is revolutionizing the way that we look at certain problems and is opening up what once was the impossible. So a year ago, I co-founded a company with 2 friends of mine, Max and Shane, called Cortex. And what we do is design brain-computer interfaces. In this picture, we were attempting to control a prosthetic arm with our thoughts using our non-invasive brain-computer interface. And we successfully did it in our garage. We aren't the only ones experimenting with this technology, though. Research teams around the world are starting to experiment with brain-computer interfaces. Here's a picture of a joint team in Italy and Japan, where a researcher in Italy is controlling a robot across the globe in Japan just with her thoughts. It's pretty amazing. This is Shane, Max, and I with our good friend Ben last year prototyping our very first rendition of our brain stimulator. Technologies like these have the capability of improving cognitive behaviors, treating mental illnesses, and even helping with sensory restoration. What if that arm I showed you earlier also allowed the user to feel again? While that may be only a few short years away, we can at least now give sight to the blind. There are brain-computer interfaces that literally restore your sight. Though it is not perfect like the original, it is still functioning and practical sight that people have actually gained. The new ability to restore motor and sensory functions is only the beginning. These new discoveries of the brain have put us on the verge of a technological and social shift, one that seems to shout human evolution, one where we have more control over the boundaries of our minds than ever before. The brain is becoming an open idea, and the discussions are bearing the ripest of fruit. The new understanding we have is awesome and powerful, and it is allowing us to do miraculous things, from restoring sight to the blind to helping people walk again. It is obvious that more is to come, and when it does, it will change everything. We are staring into the eyes of infinite possibility. I think we will have fitting answers to our long-held questions of the self and more. We may be redefining the human experience so that we are not bound by the last layer of our skin, but by our imagination and will. I believe studying the brain is the ultimate search for the answers to the greater questions of why we are, who we are, and what we are. I believe through the search of the brain, this search of the century, we will find ourselves bordering the transcendental in the near future. Thank you.